All right, let's jump right in. Sometimes an entire turning point in history, a huge pivotal moment, can be packed into just a single sentence. Today, we're going to unpack one of those moments, a really powerful piece of advice from the Old Testament, given right at the end of an incredible era. Bidi slobodan I hrabar. Now, in English, this particular Serbian translation reads something like, be free and courageous. These are words from the book of Deuteronomy, spoken at a time of just immense pressure. So what kind of situation would demand a message like this? Who is saying these words, and who are they talking to? Who is about to face a challenge so massive they need this exact advice? Well, it turns out these are the words of Moses, and he's speaking them at the very, very end of his life. So this isn't just some casual advice, right? These are his words before parting. It's a moment of profound change, a final instruction from a legendary leader to his successor, with the fate of an entire nation just hanging in the balance.
To really feel the weight of this, you have to get the context. This moment marks the end of Moses' journey. After decades of struggle, the people of Israel are standing right at the edge of the promised land. They are literally on the brink of fulfilling their destiny.
And what a journey it was, 40 years. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. 40 years of wandering in the desert. An entire generation was born and grew old during that time. This number isn't just a number. It represents unbelievable hardship, unwavering faith, and an absolutely epic, nation-defining struggle. And here's the really poignant personal tragedy at the heart of this story. Moses will see the promised land, but he will not enter it. Think about that. After leading his people for 40 years, being their guide, their lawgiver, their prophet, he's told by God that he will only get to see their final destination from a distance. He won't get to take that last step with them. So, a new leader has to step up. This moment is all about succession. And this new leader is facing a dual task, a truly monumental challenge that's going to require a whole new kind of strength. Moses knows this, and his final act is to get his successor ready for everything that's coming. And that successor is Joshua, son of Nun. Okay, now here's a really crucial point about the translation we're using. In this classic Serbian version by Juraj Danicic, the name Joshua is actually written as Isus. Now, to be perfectly clear, this is Joshua from the Old Testament, not Jesus Christ. It's a fascinating little detail of translation that's absolutely key to understanding this specific text. So what was this massive dual task facing Joshua? First, he had to lead a huge military campaign to conquer the land of Canaan, a land filled with strong, established nations. And then, as if that wasn't enough, he had to handle the incredibly complex job of dividing that land fairly among all the tribes of Israel. So it's the job of a general and the job of a statesman all rolled into one. No pressure, right? And when you're facing an overwhelming mission like that, we come right back to Moses' words. You see, they weren't just a friendly good luck. They were a foundational command for the entire mission ahead, a message for all time. This was the spiritual and the psychological armor that Joshua was going to need. Now, to really understand the power behind these words, we've got to go back to the original Hebrew. The phrase is Hazak ve'ematz. And this is interesting. While the Serbian translation we saw rendered this as be free and courageous, the direct Hebrew meaning is be strong and courageous. And this isn't just about emotional bravery. It implies physical strength, resilience, and fortitude. It's a command to be tough in body, in mind, and in spirit. And here is the most crucial part of all. Moses is reminding Joshua that this immense pressure isn't his to carry all by himself. He's saying this is not just a human endeavor. This is the fulfillment of a divine covenant. He's framing the entire conquest not as some personal ambition, but as the final act in a promise that God made centuries earlier to their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. Why does this single verse, this one moment of passing the torch, matter so much? Why is it so absolutely crucial to the whole story? Well, this single moment was so crucial because it was everything, all at once. It was a formal, public transfer of power that stopped any kind of leadership crisis before it could start. But it was way more than that. It reframed the huge struggle ahead not as just another war, but as the fulfillment of a divine ancestral promise. And really, it's a masterclass in leadership, a blueprint for how to pass the torch by grounding the mission in courage and a purpose that is so much bigger than any one person. And that brings us to a final thought, something for you to consider. What is the most important message a leader can leave for their successor? Moses chose words of strength and courage, all of it rooted in a divine purpose. What would you choose? It's a question that echoes from this ancient text right into our own lives today.